All right, everyone. Hope all you guys are doing well. I just wanted to take a few minutes, still let people join the meeting. So we'll wait a couple more minutes, but just wanted to let you guys know we're ready to go. And a couple things, again, you saw the screen before. Just make sure you guys are on mute, no video. And then all the questions that come up as I go through the presentation, just insert them in the chat, and then we'll have a couple of our coaches fielding those, and those will be asked at the end of the presentation. And if you scroll up, you'll see a lot of the people that have videos. Those are actual coaches within the age group as well as directors. So as you go through this, we will show a slide that has all the coaches listed for the U11 age group. And you guys probably saw it on the website as well when that was released. So you can kind of start putting a name to a face. So again, thanks a lot for joining tonight, and we'll get started here shortly. All right, I had to go ahead to get started. All right, so club was established in 1978. It's nationally known. It's nationally recognized for best practices under what's now the USC standard advanced assessment. We're continuously recognized as one of the premier clubs in Colorado, as well as Region 4. If you look at this slide, it has all of the players that we placed in college over the last 7 years, and as well as the history, the winning history that we've had as a club as well. And this year, last year we had 60 teams on the competitive side, U11 to U19. This year we're projecting to have right around the same as well. Sure, the next one. All right. So, Arsenal Colorado Foundations. All right, so Arsenal Colorado Foundations, player and coaching development. We're consistent with national standards of U.S. Soccer, U.S. Youth, and USC. Competitive platforms that we play in: Colorado Soccer Association, ECNL Boys, which is Elite Cubs National League, as well as Far West Regional League. Here are some of our partnerships that we have. We are sponsored by Adidas. So if you saw not too long ago, we had our official jersey release. So that, again, we are in all Adidas and just all the different logos of all of our different sponsors as well. So here is our quick look at our coaching staff. Dave Schaefer, who is our technical director. Myself, I'm the director of coaching for U11 to U14 boys competitive. Our new hire announced just today, Phil Cooper, is our director of coaching U11 to U14 girls competitive. Peter Nash, who will now be overseeing all the U15 to U18 boys and girls competitive. Jamie Beamer, recreational girls. Chris Banghart, recreational boys. And Sean, a recent hire as well, will be our new director of goalkeeping. Again, I'm just going to leave this on the screen for a few seconds. You can look at the amazing time and effort Dave Schaefer has put into the club. He was also recently a member of the Colorado Soccer Hall of Fame. Just again, a little bit about myself. Phil Cooper as well. Here's Peter Nash's little profile, and again, we'll make this available to you guys, to everyone as well, if you wanted to really go over all this stuff and take a look at it. Jamie Beamer. And Chris Banghart. One more. Sean Elbert. So we really pride ourselves in higher coaching education. for not only our directors but as well as our team coaches. So you can take a look at all of the licensing levels that the club has between the directors as well as team coaches as well. So here's a list of the U11 boys coaches for the fall. I'll be coaching the academy team. Nancy Johnson, the gold team. Adrian Valise Smith will be the royal team coach, and Neil Johnson will be the blue team coach. Dave is still currently interviewing coaches for our white and black teams. So once he finalizes those, then we will be able to release those as well. As for the girls, the academy team, Phil Cooper, the gold team, Andy Ross, royal team, Mike Rudd, blue team, Eric Newbert, and as well as a couple spots being interviewed currently for our white and black teams. So as we talk about player placement, our job is to identify and group players of likability. The benefit of grouping by ability, it enhances players' development and overall experience. This year, obviously due to the current situation, it's going to be a little different in terms of how teams are selected. We want to make sure that we give everyone a fair shot when it comes to this. We're relying heavily on past coaches in terms of their feedback, their thoughts of players, because it could potentially be where if we don't go or have the opportunity to have tryouts, that is how teams will have to be selected. So understanding that, this is kind of a unique circumstance. It's going to be a difficult situation, but we have great coaches that have provided great feedback, player evaluations to us, which is going to make the job a little easier. So our whole idea, Arsenal has always done a great job of having multiple teams in age groups. It allows for players to develop at their own rate, physically and emotionally, earn promotion with levels of teams and level of competition, allows players to train and plan up, and there's always a higher level team in competition. If there's a U11 or a 2010 academy player, where can he go? He plays up a year. So there's always opportunities for players within our club to be pushed more and have the opportunities to train with higher level teams. Here is what our player evaluation criteria is. We focus a lot on the 4 pillars: the technical, tactical, athletic, and psychological. And these 4 components really help us as staff really evaluate all the different components that players have in their individual abilities as well. So here's our current schedule. And again, we will post all of this stuff, and it should have been in an email or will be in an email that will be sent to you guys. And again, this is hopeful that we can have tryouts. As most of you guys may have seen, that kids are allowed to play up to within groups of no more than 25. So that's really, it's a positive for us in terms of trying to figure out a way over the next couple weeks to really try and evaluate players, mindful of the current situation as well. So this is what, again, an ideal situation. It's 100%. We can have very limited restrictions. This is what the tryout schedule would look like. But again, preface it just with saying that it could change just based on the day-to-day changes that this pandemic has left us with. So what happens after a tryout? The coaches will meet directly after. They will sit down, go over notes, and go over player rankings and select their teams. It's important that coaches contact their players by phone. What will happen is the academy team will start making their calls, from the top of their list. The gold team will start making their calls from the bottom of their list, which makes it for a very efficient way of trying to get everyone called. One of our coaches has developed a really awesome platform for us to really make sure that no player slips through the cracks, and it's really increased the speed of player notification. And it's important to know that if I call and offer a player a spot on my team, I want to make sure you guys need to have an answer. Because again, if hey Luis, can I have an hour to think about it? Can I have 24 hours to think about it? You have to understand that slows down the whole process for all of the players that need to be called. So it's just important that you guys have that conversation beforehand and say, hey, these are the teams that we would be willing to play for, because it just makes the decisions a little quicker, and we can move on and hopefully make a player's evening or day whenever we do call them. So the way the league structure works, we are put into Champions League, and that's usually our academy and gold level teams. And these are seeded by historical data. So there's 3 different tiers within that. There's Premier 1, Premier 2, and Premier 3. There is promotion and relegation between both seasons. The way this works, the bottom 3 teams will drop down to the next tier, and the top 3 teams in that tier will then move up. So it is awesome because you get opportunities to play different teams and not the same teams over and over in one season. In terms of our royal blue, white, black teams, those are placed on, we are provided the opportunity to place those based on where we think they fit. We seek the guidance from the coaches, their input, and we place them in one of the 5 different categories: elite, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. And again, for this one, unique to itself, there's no promotion and relegation in club places teams each season. So the way the CSA League looks like, and this is 9 games in the fall, 9 games in the spring. Half of the games at home will be at the complex, and half will be away. And really, away can be anywhere in Colorado. Grand Junction, Arsenal teams that have to travel to Grand Junction, it's a little bit unfortunate, but we have to commit to that drive. Colorado Springs as well, Pueblo, or it could be in Loveland. So just depending on where the games will be played, significant amount of them would be just somewhere in the Denver area though. Fall season will begin August 29th, and end of season is in early November. Spring season begins mid-March. Remember this, we are about a year from it, is you will be playing games on the end of spring break. We always ask that families are understanding of this. If one player misses, then 2, 5, 6 players miss. It puts a team in a tough spot, and we always just hope that you guys are understanding of that, as we want to make sure that we put teams on the fields that are going to compete and be successful. And the season it ends in mid-May, given hopefully perfect weather. Tournament information: most teams will play 3 tournaments during the seasonal year, and that's fall and spring. Usually 1 to 2 preseason tournaments before that August 29th date in terms of when league play, and usually 1 or 2, maybe 2 tournaments in the spring and in a postseason tournament. So right around 3 tournaments within a seasonal year. U11 teams typically travel within Colorado for tournaments. Academy and gold teams may travel out of state. So training programs, we offer several of them over the course of the season. Staff training with individual teams. We will bring out teams, and you guys will work with your respective directors wherever your team falls under. Technical activities, technical sessions, tactical sessions, and it's a good way to also get different teams together just to kind of create more of a club camaraderie, club atmosphere. There's weekly goalkeeper training that Sean will be heading up. And there's also game and tournament support. So staff coaches, during games, you'll see them occasionally on sidelines of your kids' games. And, we're there to help and support the coach in any capacity, just to make sure that, if they have any questions, or, we evaluate the games, provide feedback. We just want to make sure that we are helping them to the best of our abilities. And there are also winter and summer academies. Summer academies, again, are still kind of up in the air in terms of scheduling and how we want to do that, just based on what's coming down the pike. Player expenses, exact amount. There's a lot of different ways that it's determined, but it's determined by the team coach and parents as part of the process of forming and approving the team's annual financial statement. Total fees include cost of registration, practice, space, equipment, uniforms, clinics, tournaments, social activities, as well as coaches' expenses. So here's a snapshot of what it cost for our U11 teams this last season. Right around $1,395 for an academy team, $1,135 for a royal blue, white, black team. Then the uniforms come into play. You can see the prices there. The only required pieces of the uniform to buy are 2 jerseys, 2 shorts, and 2 socks. Everything else is optional. Warm-ups, backpack, training shorts. Fees and uniform scholarships are also available to qualified players. In the past 5 years, more than $270,000 have been awarded in scholarships to give players the opportunity to play. So Brenda just wanted me to remind you guys that total amount that you see there, Academy $1,395, that is the amount that's due to the club. And that covers all of the club expenses. There will be additional team expenses, and that ranges in terms of, and it'll show on the next slide. So again, just what that amount before, this is what the fees cover. Club registration, the CSA fees, pays for the games, referees, insurance, training programs, coaches stipend and pay, club overhead, and soccer field complex maintenance. So now these are the fees that are due to the team. So again, these range just based on a lot of different factors: how many teams, how many social activities that you guys do, types, team equipment. Some coaches may have their own equipment that they'd be willing to let the teams use. Some coaches may need to purchase equipment, balls, pennies, cones, and that would come out of the team fees that would be paid to the team. So again, the objective of tryouts is to, one, allow coaches the opportunity to fully evaluate every individual, group players based on likability, and it allows players to achieve the maximum development. So again, thank you guys all for attending this Zoom meeting. We as a staff have been doing a lot of these, and we've gotten pretty good at them. And it just allows us to, again, have that little bit of personal touch and see faces. You guys allow to see us, because again, it has been a really unique situation. And we hope that all of you guys are excited to play for Arsenal. We are excited to have you guys as a part of our family, and we really are excited to get out on the fields and work with the kids. It's something that we as coaches have really stressed that it's something that we have missed, and it's tough to go through this last couple of months not being able to train kids. So I know I'm ready, and I know the rest of our staff is. So thank you guys. We will just now go through some questions here on this last page. And again, if here's our contact information, so write it down. If you guys have, direct more of them to Dave Schaefer. He's the more knowledgeable one. But again, any of us can help you guys in any way. So we'll just kind of go. Sean and Peter will help me kind of look at the questions, or sorry, Sean and Phil will help me look at the questions. and then we will, as a group, help answer the questions that you guys have, whether it be myself or any of the other directors or Brenda as well.
Yeah, so the first question, Luis, I guess that comes back to me.
All right, so Sean, what's question number one?
So question number one is, what age do you expect goalkeepers to specialize in the position? So bringing that back to me, and this was one of the reasons why I was looking forward to getting starting with the organization this spring, which unfortunately didn't get to materialize too much. As far as the ages go, we really look to start kind of right around the age of 11. That's when goalkeeper specific training begins, and that'll be anywhere from 1 to 2 times a week, depending which team that you're on. And as far as the specialization goes, it's one of those things where if there's multiple goalkeepers on the team, I mean, it allows them to split halves, it allows them to still play the field and figure out as an individual if that's a position that they want to, dive into full time as they slowly get to, 11v11 when they get to the age of 13. So we start the goalkeeper specific training 1 to 2 times a week at age 11, and then they kind of have a year or two until they get to 11v11 to truly figure out if it's a position that they want to be full time in. So moving on to question number 2. Where'd it go? Are all kids placed on a team? If there are cuts, what options are available?
I could take that one. So we really try and place every player on a team. Couple options that we have, if we get down to, say, the U11 age group, and we have 5 or 6 players, and then you look at the U12 age group, the age group above, they have like 7 players. So what we try and do first and foremost is really try and give every kid the opportunity to play on a competitive team. And sometimes that will mean players having to play up a year and trying to really form a team to give that kids the opportunity. If that isn't the option, if a player isn't placed on a team, we have a great recreational program that we really try and have our kids play, take the time, really refine their skills, and then hopefully come back the next year and be placed on a team.
All right. Moving on to the next question, Luis. If one is unable to attend tryouts, will he or she still be notified about a team placement within a week of the scheduled tryouts?
Yes, that's correct. So the only part of that, though, so if your son can attend tryouts, we have no idea if he can or cannot attend tryouts if you do not register. So it's important that you register, identify your current situation in the notes part of that, and then once we populate all of the players, we will utilize, again, previous player history to help place players even if they can't be at tryouts. And keep in mind as well, once you guys, the earlier you register for tryouts, we are putting together a birth year training schedule that's going to take place hopefully over the next 2.5 weeks. That can also be an opportunity for your player to be identified as well as evaluated. So again, we're hopeful that we can just solidify all of the ins and outs based on the CDC guidelines and making sure that we provide a safe environment for these birth year trainings. And in a long answer, yes, we do place every player, and you will be called.
All right. Moving on to the next one. Again, this will be coming back to me. Is the goalkeeper training at the same time as the team practice or a different time? As far as goalkeeper training goes, it's really kind of just up in the air as far as whether it will be scheduled during your team training. We will look at the schedule and it depends on what level the team is at as well. I know this past spring through the first week is kind of just a matter of luck whether it lined up with your team or not. Due to the number of goalkeepers and teams that we will have moving forward and the number of time slots that we have available, we'll kind of go based by age and which team that they're on. So the next question, Luis, will be, what are the practice commitments for this level of soccer?
Great question. So our academy and gold teams will train 3 times a week. and then games on the weekend. So you're looking at four dates. Our Royal Blue, White, Black teams will train 2 times a week. We do have some Royal coaches that like to throw in an occasional 3rd training session a week, but that's the expectations. There will be times where, again, there's staff training sessions. So some coaches will replace one of their team training sessions, again, giving you your either 3 sessions or 2 sessions, or that week, a coach may add it as an additional session onto what you guys are already doing.
All right. The next question is kind of related to the birth year training that we're still working on. Are there going to be training sessions before tryouts for those who have not been with the club for more evaluation time?
Yes. So again, it goes back to registering for tryouts. We want to make sure that we know and give those kids the opportunity to be seen by our staff. Again, regardless from what club, we want to make sure that, the players currently with the club have club history. Again, that's a positive for them, not necessarily negative for players coming in. But we want to make sure that we know that, so we give that player just a little bit of extra eyes, to make sure that they can fit into one of our teams.
Hey, Luis, I'm going to piggyback on that a little bit. June 1, based on the state activities and training and all the protocol regarding COVID-19, and we're bound by the county, but it looks like June 1, they're going to open up small group training, so to speak. We're presently working on developing birth year training a couple weeks prior to tryouts. Once we get into June, we'll have to run it through the county and get permission from the county and make sure our protocol is in line. But we are working on that, and we will provide that, or that schedule will be posted on the website for anybody inside, outside the club. Everybody's welcome to attend, and that'll be hopefully another opportunity for kids to be seen and evaluated prior to the trial process.
Great. As of right now, this could be our last question, and it relates to practices. Where are our trainings located at?
So it's really dependent on the teams. Our academy teams will train out at the complex. All academy teams train at the complex. The Gold, Royal, Blue, White, and Black teams will train in town, and it's just really dependent on where the coach finds space. There will be a window where the city allows for rentals to be made. So it'll be up to the manager and the coach to touch base and figure out, where the best place to train will be. Because again, sometimes when you show up to a park and it's completely full, you gotta kind of try and find another spot. So it takes a little bit to really find your area. But we as a club help as well to make sure that we try and help you guys find a training home.
All right. Thank you, Luis. As of right now, that looked to be our last question.
Okay. So I'm going to have Brenda hop in and just talk a little bit about the administrative side and just more reference to the registration process. So thanks, guys.
Okay, so hold on just a sec. Okay, just a real quick reminder, Luis told you guys that registering is really important. Registration is open for tryouts right now. It's all online this year. We will have a different process for if anybody has participated in our tryout process before. The admin definitely will look different this year than it has in previous years. Everybody will register online. All of you guys that are 2010s that are playing with Arsenal should have received an email with instructions on how to register. If you would be new to the club, there is a link on our homepage that will take you straight to the registration link. You just you create an account, you go in, put all your information in. Like Luis said, that's our best communication tool for anybody who is new, who would be new to the club. The best communication tool, the best way for us to share that information is going to be through having your kiddos registered as soon as possible for the tryout process. When we get out to tryouts, they'll get their numbered jerseys and everything. The jerseys are $10. They will be training jerseys for the kiddos all next year. So they will continue to use those all next year as training jerseys. You will get those numbered jerseys when your kiddo checks in for tryouts, once we figure out exactly what that process is going to look like. Now I'm going to give it back to Luis.
So that's
So if, are there any other questions that you guys may have? I'll wait a few seconds. There was a question, will the shirts not be worn for birth year training? No, they will not be. You will just wear whatever jersey you guys would like. All right, so that's it for me. Dave, would you like to share anything, or any of the other directors before we end this Zoom call?
I would just like to thank everybody for being on the meeting, for allowing us the opportunity to work with your children. One of our primary goals is to provide a positive experience for all the members of the club. And we work hard and strive to accomplish that year in and year out. Hope to see you at tryouts, and thanks for being a part of this tonight.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all soon.